Hi everybody, and welcome back to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Miss St. Louis, and I'm a teacher at Rogers Elementary School in the Mehlville School District, and we are located in South St. Louis County. Today I'm here to teach a reading lesson that's geared towards our students who are in 3rd grade, but all learners are more than welcome to join and explore along with us. So let's get started. This week we have been talking about all things comprehension. And comprehension is the process of a reader making meaning of a text, right? So going one step further, not just reading the words, but also taking the time to truly understand what a text is trying to tell you about. And so far this week, we've talked about a variety of ways in which we as readers can help to build our comprehension. And on Monday, we talked about monitoring our comprehension by annotating our text, right? Using some stop and jots to help mark down our thinking as we're reading, right? And so we chose to use sticky notes, but you can use whatever you want to help really keep track of your thinking process as you're reading. We've also talked about asking ourselves questions as we read books and really thinking before we read, right? Getting our minds ready to read a book. As we're reading, really thinking about what is this book trying to teach me or tell me about, and do I really understand what's going on? And then at the end of the book, what did I just read, right? And why was that important? And why did the author really want me to read this book? And lastly, we've also talked about visualization, right? And visualization is creating that mental movie or picture in your mind to really help you kind of picture what's going on. It's something that I feel when the people who make movies, right, they have to do a lot of visualizing, especially if their movie is based on a book. They have to really think, what's this going to look like in real life? So you're almost being a bit of a movie maker when you are visualizing. And today we're going to talk about making connections as we read. Now, readers make connections to the text as they read, and there's a few different types of connections that we can make as readers. So let's talk about what those different types of connections are. The first type of connection that we make, and one that we make quite often, is a text-to-self connection. And that's a connection between the text and your own personal experiences. So, for example, in a text, if the characters are going on vacation to Florida and you've been on vacation to Florida, well, you're able to make a connection to that text, right? Because you've done the same thing that the character's done. So you might feel the same types of feelings, right? Or do the same types of things. If the character in the book is making a pie and you've made a pie, then you're able to make a connection, right, with that character. And you're able to say, hey, you know what? I've done that too. That's something that we have in common. It's a connection that we have. We also can make text-to-text connections. And so a text-to-text connection is a connection between one text and another text. And so, right, we're able to say, hey, you know what? What's happening in this story is kind of like what happened in this story as well. Or, right, we can often make connections between fractured fairy tales. And fractured fairy tales are fairy tales that are very similar to the originals, but something's been kind of changed up. For example, this book is called The Gingerbread Man. Does that make you think of anything else? Yeah, it makes you think about the Gingerbread Man. So if the Gingerbread Man is a story that you are familiar with, right, you might be able to make some text-to-text connections, right? There might be a similar plot going on, some similar characters, right? So you might be able to make some connections from this text to the original text that it's based off of. And lastly is a text-to-world connection. And it's a connection between a text and something in the world. And oftentimes I like to think about text-to-world connections when I'm thinking about nonfiction books. It's very easy for me to make those connections because I'm able to see how some of those topics in nonfiction books apply to real life. So if I'm reading a book all about how to save water, right, I can make that connection to the real world because I can help to save water. right, in the world, right? I can help others to save water by teaching them about how to save their world. If I'm reading a book about an endangered species, then I might be able to do something to help that endangered species. Maybe by helping to raise money for that species, or your local zoo might have something going on to help you. So you're able to make those connections on more of a worldly basis, not just something that you've done personally, but there's something that you might be able to do to help out with that situation. So there's a few different ways in which we can make some connections. To practice a little bit, I would like to give you some scenarios, and you tell me, are they making a text-to-world connection, a text-to-self connection, or a text-to-text connection? Are you ready? All right. Jesse's dad got a new job, and now he has to move to a brand new town. Do you think you'd be able to make a text-to-self connection, a text-to-text connection, or a text-to-world connection? Yeah, you might be able to make a text-to-self connection, right? Can everybody? Maybe not. If you have never moved, you might not be able to make a text-to-self connection there. All right, let's try another one. Jackson grew out of so many of his clothes that he decided to donate the ones that no longer fit. What kind of connection could that be? Absolutely, right? Text to world, right? We're making those connections to our world by being able to donate to help others in our planet. Absolutely. All right, next up. During math, Seymour daydreamed about going on an adventure. What kind of connection might that be? Yeah, that might be a text or a text-to-self connection, right? You might be dreaming about the same things going on in a text. Absolutely. All right. Let's do one more. Today, Cynthia went with her mom to the grocery store. Absolutely, you might be able to make a text-to-self connection because you may have gone with your mom to the grocery store, right? So we're able to make those connections and kind of see things that we have in common, or things that books have in common, or things that they have in common, right, with the world in the way that we're able to help the world. So what we're going to do today is we're going to read a book and see if there are any connections that we're able to make with the book. And I think we're going to be able to make one right off the bat. Are you ready? The book that we're going to read today is The Three Frilly Goats. I messed that one up. The Three Frilly Goats Fluff. By Adam and Charlotte Guillain and Phil Littler. Kind of already starting to see a text connection. Can you see it too? Yeah, right? This book sounds very similar to the book, The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Have any of you ever heard that story before? Yeah, so we might be able to make some connections from that book to this book as well, some text-to-text connections. And on the back, it says, the Three Frilly Goats Fluff love getting dressed up. They really need some new clothes, but the mall is across the bridge, guarded by a fierce troll. How can the goats get past him? Let's read to find out. Once upon a time, there were 3 frilly goats Fluff. The 3 frilly goats Fluff wore frilly hats. They wore frilly tops. They wore frilly pants. And in fact, everything they wore looked frilly and silly. Have you ever known someone who maybe wore some outfits that were maybe a little out there? A little extra? Yeah, right? We might know someone who's maybe does that in real life, right? And that's just the types of outfits that they like to wear. Or maybe, right, you like to wear some outfits that are a little different than everyone around you. They kind of make you stand out a little more. Maybe that's because they have really bright sequins on them and they're super bright colors, right? Or they have extra detail and flair, right? Something that makes them stand out a little bit more, a little bit frilly. And is that okay? Absolutely, it's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own style, right? The Three Frilly Goats Fluff longed to go to the mall to buy more frilly things. You know, I can kind of make a text-to-self connection because there are some days when I really just wanted to go to the store to buy something, right? Maybe that's a new pair of shoes or a new book, right? Sometimes there are just times when I really want to go and get it. But there was a problem. A very big problem. A troll. Well, I don't know about you, but I can't make any text-to-self connections there because I've never met a troll. Kind of missing that thing. Missing that. The troll lived under the bridge. He was rough. He was tough. He did all kinds of troll-like things, especially eating goats who crossed his bridge. Uh-oh. Do you think you'd try and cross the bridge if there was someone underneath it who was not going to be very nice to you? Yeah, I don't think I'd try and cross the bridge either. I think I might try and avoid it or do something else, right? And so, well, many of us probably haven't experienced a situation where there's a troll in the way. We might have experienced something similar, right? Where we can't get somewhere because something's blocking our way, right? So there's a little bit of a connection we can make there. It's not exactly the same, but we might understand the feelings that come from not being able to get somewhere, right? Because something's in your way. One day, the small Frilly Goats Fluff thought, this scarf doesn't go with my top. I'm going to the mall. She was scared of the troll, but she really wanted a new scarf. So off she went. Have you ever done something even though you're kind of scared? Yeah. It takes a lot of bravery to do things, right? So we might be able to make a text-to-self connection, right? Really might be feeling the same way. Who's that trapping across over my bridge? Roared the troll. Here, wear this, bleated the small Frilly Goat Fluff. You would look really nice in it. She threw her old scarf at the troll. Well, not exactly a connection, but in Three Frilly Goats Fluff, I don't remember them throwing their clothes to the troll. So this is where it gets to be a little bit different, right? So far, we've kind of seen the same plot, right? They want to get to the other side of the bridge, and the troll's in the way. But this is a new way to get across. Let's see what the troll does. The middle-sized Frilly Goat Fluff was trying on her old earrings. These earrings are far too big for me, she sighed. I need new ones. She was really scared of the troll, but she really wanted a new pair of earrings. So off she went. The troll's just letting them pass. Interesting. Who's that trip-trapping across my bridge? Roared the troll. Here, wear these, bleated the middle-sized Frilly Goat Fluff. They would look great with your scarf. The middle-sized Frilly Goat Fluff. Say that 3 times fast. It's quite a mouthful. Threw her earrings at the troll. What do you notice about the troll? Yeah, he's wearing the scarf. So she threw her scarf and he put it on. She's going to throw her earrings. So what do you think he's going to do? He might put them on. The big Frilly Goat Fluff. Ugh, it's so hard to say. Frilly Goat Fluff. You get a chance later. Try saying that one 5 times fast. Looked at her handbag. This bag doesn't go with anything, she grumbled. I'm going to the mall. She was scared of the troll, but she really wanted a new bag. So, off she went. Who's that trapping over my bridge? Roared the troll. Here, take this bag, bleated the big Frilly Goat Fluff. The color matches your outfit. The big Frilly Goat Fluff threw her bag at the troll. What's gonna happen next? The 3 Frilly Goats Fluff had a great time at the mall. Oh, look, buying new scarves, new bags, new earrings. Under the bridge, the troll tried on all his new things. I like looking frilly, he said to himself. I want more frilly things. He wants more frilly things. So how do you think he's going to get more frilly things? What might he do? Might take some stuff from other people as they walk across their bridge. Might take the new things that they just bought at the mall. Oh, he might do that. Doesn't sound too nice, right? Wouldn't want someone to take my new things. Let's see. The 3 Frilly Goats Fluff finished shopping and headed for home. When they got to the bridge, the troll was waiting. Dun, 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 dun. To show off his new clothes. You look great, the 3 Frilly Goats Fluff said. From now on, we'll all go shopping together. The end. So, we were able to make a few connections as we read this book, right? We're definitely able to make a text-to-text connection because this text is very similar to that text, the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, right? And so we're able to make some connections because they have similar characters, right? They have the 3 goats and they have the troll, right? And the 3 goats are trying to get across the bridge, but the troll won't let them, okay? The plot is a little bit different from there, right? Because the goats in the 3 Frilly Goats Fluff are able to get across because they give him a piece of their clothing. And he takes that frilly piece of clothing and he lets them cross. In the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, right, they kind of trick him into letting them get across, right, by saying, oh, you know, my bigger brother's gonna come, right? And so my bigger brother's gonna come. So they trick him a little bit. So the plot kind of changes, but we're definitely able to see that there's some similarities between these books and make those connections. We've also were able to make some text-to-self connections because there were some scenarios in here that you might have experienced on your own, right? The experience of not being able to get somewhere might be something that's hard. And, you know, there's we can make the connection, right, of there being a bully, right? We can kind of see how the troll is a little bit of a bully, right? He's mean, he doesn't want people to cross his bridge. And so we might be able to make some connections to that, either through personal experiences that we've had or through text-to-text experiences. You might have read another book about a bully, right? And how those characters chose to deal with that bully. So we're able to make a little bit of connections there. Not too many text-to-world connections could we make with this book, but that's okay. Not every book are we going with, not, said that a little wrong. With every book, we're not going to be able to make every single type of connection, and that's totally okay, right? If you think about a nonfiction book, and if you're reading a nonfiction book all about elephants, you might not be able to make a text-to-self connection in a nonfiction book about elephants, right? Because maybe you don't have a zoo near you and you have never seen an elephant before. You've never learned about one before, so there might not be a lot of connections that you're able to make, right? Maybe this is the very first book you're reading about elephants, and so you can't make a text-to-text connection. So don't try to make every single connection, right? But think about it, as the book comes up, right? You can definitely pay attention to those. We talked about on Monday when we're annotating text, we can do the two intersecting circles, almost looks like a Venn diagram, to show that connection piece as we're reading, right? And so as you're reading, just when those moments come up and you kind of say, hey, you know what? This reminds me of a time when I did something, or this reminds me of something I read in another book, or, you know, this reminds me of something going on in the world or something going on that I can do to help. Jot those moments down, right? Don't force yourself to find a connection on every page because that's not always possible. And the big thing to recognize about comprehension is that we use all of these pieces together. So while today we focused on making connections, really when we're comprehending, we're doing everything at once. We're making connections, we're inferring, we're visualizing, we're annotating text and monitoring our comprehension, we're sequencing, we're retelling, we're doing it all at the same time, right? And so all of these pieces, when we put them all together, it really helps to round out our comprehension of a text. So this is just one piece of that whole comprehension bundle that we have been working on this week. So as you're reading books, try it out, right? Think of one thing that we learned about this week to be able to comprehend and start with that, right? If visualizing was something that you really enjoyed, start with that. Start by visualizing your text and then grow. Add one more thing and maybe ask yourself a couple questions. Then begin to make some connections and then begin to monitor your text. You don't have to go home and do it all today because that can be very overwhelming to do everything all at once, right? So start off slow with your comprehension practice and work your way up, okay? So today we talked about making connections, right? And we were wrapping up our conversation all about comprehending text. And the big thing I want you to remember, boys and girls, is that when we read, we don't just read to read the words, right? Reading the words is just a part. We also read to make meaning of a text. Authors have written these books in order for you to learn something, to experience something. They've written it for you to experience some enjoyment. So they want you to understand what you're reading and they want you to really enjoy it and partake in that process. And we can do that through comprehension. And so boys and girls, this brings us to the end of our lesson today. It brings us to the end of our lessons this week for reading, and it brings us to the end of this season. So this is the last episode of the fall season, and I just want to take a minute to thank you guys for joining in with us, right? Whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching us on YouTube, or maybe you are watching us because your teacher has assigned you this video to watch to get some extra practice. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you from me and thank you from all of us teachers here in room 9 for participating in watching these, experiencing them with us. We have really enjoyed learning with you, and I hope that you've learned something new. We've definitely gone over a lot of topics in these past 14 weeks. We've talked all about comprehension. We've made inferences. We've read poetry and nonfiction. We've learned about so many new topics and experienced so many different kinds of books. Together, we have read an abundance of different books. We've learned hundreds about, so many new words. I can't even count all the new words that we've learned together. We have really learned a lot together, and I have been so happy to be on this journey with you as we are learning new things together. And I hope that you were able to take something new away from these videos, and I hope that they have either taught you something new or really helped to reinforce what you are doing in your classroom. And so, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in and joining in with us. I hope that you'll come back and join us tomorrow as we have some brand new science and social studies videos coming up on our channel. And I hope that we'll see you back next time as our new season comes on out. But until we see you again, boys and girls, I hope that you have a happy holiday, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.